In today's show, we have another of our popular Dynamite Conspiracies episodes where we discuss, is America deliberately trying to destroy Europe?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep it safe and well. And you know what I'm going to ask you? Go on, you can do it. You can do it.
So anyway, I want to say hello to this person in San Salvador, in the San Salvador department, which
Oh,
I suppose is like the French department, I suppose, sort of thing, like a state or something. I'm not really sure what that is.
is this one of your little factoids again, or is it
This
just
is saying
somebody?
hello to one of our
Oh, I
recent
see.
downloaders in San Salvador, which
Okay.
do I believe that's in Colombia? I believe yes, San Salvador in Colombia.
San Salvador, I don't know. Is it
Yeah.
sure not El Salvador?
San Salvador is a is
San
is,
Salvador.
is a
Okay.
city. El Salvador,
Right.
El Salvador, is that such a thing? The savior, El Salvador is
I'm
the
getting
savior.
confused. Shows how not much I know about my geography.
uh,
Bad.
well, okay, one for you, one for me. San Salvador is a city. It is actually the capital of guess what? El Salvador.
Oh,
So well done. Okay.
blimey, that was pure luck. Trust me.
Hello to whoever that person is. Please get in touch as we always ask. And
Any new listener to any single listeners
and
in
we
in
mention you, just say hello, and we'd
yeah.
like to just how'd you listen to us? How'd you find us? That sort of thing. Anyway, the fact for this week's fact is that Canadian actuarists. Do
An
you know what
actuarist.
an actuarist?
What is that? I don't know
An
what that
actuarist is
is.
somebody who manipulates statistics
Ah,
for a living, and they
okay.
typically work for insurance companies and banks and things like that, so that they try to figure out what's going to happen looking at the stats.
Oh, I see.
And Canadian actuarists, I did very naughty here. I didn't actually put on when this happened. Found that in Vancouver, in Canada, having an 8 in the house number raised house prices by an average of 10,000 Canadian dollars. But
What?
yeah, so you had an 8 in your house number.
Yeah.
It raised your house price by an average of $10,000 Canadian dollars.
Why is that?
I'll tell you in a second. But having a 4 lowered it by an average of $8,000. This was due to Chinese sensibilities on lucky and unlucky numbers.
Ah, I was going to say something about the Chinese because
Yeah.
8 is incredibly lucky for
For,
them,
for
whereas
Chinese people.
4 is unlucky. So I
Yeah.
get it. But I didn't realize in that was happening in Canada to actually
Hmm.
distort the figures in that way.
Interesting,
Interesting.
isn't it?
It
Isn't it?
is. It is. It's like what is it? Certain seats in planes and things, you don't have row 13.
Yeah,
Is that
well,
right?
the plane is coming down, dude. It's picked a different flight, man.
House number and all stuff. They've got areas in the UK in particular where the number 13 isn't used at all, which is strange because in Italy, 13 is actually lucky.
Yeah,
So, isn't that weird? So, different countries, different, I suppose they're superstitions, aren't they? But there we go.
absolutely. Yes, there we are.
Right, let's move on with today's topic. And it's another one of our popular Dynamite Conspiracies episodes. And today we're discussing, is America deliberately destroying Europe? Dun dun dun. Well,
Da-da-da-dam.
this was one of Tayo's, so I am going to ask you why you think this could be the case.
Well, it's a little unfair. It says one of mine. You should have chosen this week, but you were very busy, so
Oh, I
you
picked
asked
topics.
me to.
I must say this to my audience here, our audience, sorry, my audience, our audience.
Duh.
We take turns finding topics for our show. Now, obviously, you lovely audience, please, 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 suggest topics for us to discuss. We will look into them and we will certainly cover them if you make those suggestions. But Tayo and I ourselves, we flip flop between suggestions for topics. So Tyre has one week, I have the other. However, I think the last time I've actually had a topic that he's agreed to was 1947 because
Eh?
he just doesn't like any of my topics. So,
No,
so
this
we end
you
up
were
going
very
to one of
busy.
his. Huh?
Oh, okay, it is true. You did choose one, and then I said, no, that really blows
Yeah,
made you win.
exactly. You were
And
saying
then,
these are nonsense. This
okay, okay.
happens quite frequently when
But he
I
has such a
suggest a
habit of
topic.
choosing just crappy ones. That's why. Anyway, so okay, you're right. You're right. Okay, I
This is
chose this
yours
one. Yes, all right.
again.
So, so what is the question? What are you asking me?
Is America deliberately
No, I mean, why?
destroying
What do you want me
Europe?
to do about that? It's
Well,
self-explanatory, isn't it?
basically, you're saying is it destroying
Ah, right.
Europe?
Okay.
Give us some evidence or some examples of why you think that is the case.
Okay. Well, just look at England. No, just look at America. Just look at Europe. I mean, the, for example, to give you an example, for example, Germany is massively deindustrializing, and industries are fleeing Germany because they have to, and they're fleeing to large number of cases to America,
And you
and
said, sorry, can I
alternatively
just
to
interrupt there?
China,
You just said they have to. Why do they have to?
because of energy prices, because they are uncompetitive working inside the EU, because the EU has chosen to pick a fight with Russia and chosen to not give itself access to cheap Russian energy. And as by the way, here's a joke. I don't know if you know this. It's not even it's a joke. It's funny. Do you realize that Europe still buys Russian energy?
It
Are
does,
you aware of
yes.
that?
It's not
Okay.
completely
Do you know?
removed
Do you
that.
know? Do you know how it buys it? And from where? It
Doesn't
doesn't
it
buy
buy
from
it through
Russia.
a third party?
Yes,
Hmm.
buys it through India.
Yeah.
So the oil goes to India. It gets refined in India, and then they buy it from India. So they're buying Russian oil, and they know they're buying Russian. It's not that Tyre in Northampton is some sort of magical genius kind of Machiavellian person, with 20 computer screens, and I know, I got my fingers plugged into the internet guy, and I know what's going to. It's just, I know, they know, the world and his brother knows. It's so stupid. You're still buying Russian oil, but you're paying a third party as a fig leaf, and it's costing you a lot of money, and you're not competitive. What do you think
Well,
you're doing?
it's because it doesn't look good if they buy directly from
To
Russia,
whom?
clearly,
To whom?
to the
Doesn't
rest
look
of the
good to
world.
whom?
But you know what's happened with America now? They've now slapped a sanction, not a sanction, a tariff
Mm-hmm.
on India for buying Russian oil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only recent, and that's come in this week, strangely enough.
Mm.
So Europe can't then get its refined oil from India, i.e., the backdoor way. So actually, is this a ploy for America to destroy Europe? So it's actually answering the question on your behalf because it's forcing Europe to actually turn to America and buy its fuel and its energy because it has nowhere else to go. So America, by imposing these super high tariffs on India and saying to them, oh, it's because you're buying from Russia, Europe are now thinking, oh gosh, we can't get that oil and energy via India any longer. We have to then turn to the higher priced energy, which is the liquid gas or whatever it is
Liquid
from the
natural gas,
US. Yeah.
LNG.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not going to happen because, as Scott Ritter, in his rather rich language, says, the way I like the way he puts it,
Do you
he
want to
says the
explain who Scott
Indians.
Ritter is, just for some of our
Scott
listeners
Ritter
don't know who he is?
is, well, he is ex major in the American Armed Forces. I think he was in the Army. No, sorry, he was in the Marines. He was in the Marines. And he was heavily involved in weapons of mass destruction, search for the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq all those years ago with the UN Inspectorate. he became a bit of a figure and, well known and all that sort of thing, and talk shows and so on and so forth. And over the years, he got himself in some hot water when he was catfished. He's claims by an intelligence agency, one of the three-letter agencies, and he was catfished by them. And it turned out that he had been talking to a 15-year-old girl. He says he was set up basically because he was spilling the beans. And now he's a fervid anti-empire geopolitical commentator. Scott Ritter. He's all over the YouTube if you look for him. It's easy to spot. Anyway, he's got this rather rich vocabulary when he forgets himself and gets excited. A bit like Tyre, but and he gets excited. But he says the Indians have told America, as he put it, to pound sand. Pound sand. He said, yeah, they hit the toe and pound sand, man. And I really like that expression, to pound sand, which apparently means to naff off, as we would say here.
Well,
slightly more civilized. Naff off. I
they
love
obviously
naff off, by the
need
way.
the oil themselves because they're
Well, that's what they
growing.
were saying. They were like, it's ridiculous that you are traducing our nationhood, our ability to just determine our own path, what's good for us. We're not your colony. And, as someone said, I don't think it was called Richard, someone said, not forget, these are ex-colonies that, China, India, these are ex-colonies. They feel, if someone's talking down to them, they feel it more acutely than another country would. So you've got to be really careful, because if it looks like you're bringing back colonialism, you're going to run into a wall, because they're just instantly going to say, no, we've been through that.
Yes.
We're not going to let that happen again. So they told America to pound sand, and they're still going to buy the oil. So Europe will still get its oil. It's not going to stop. Also, the whole concept is ridiculous. One of the arguments of the Indians, I don't know if it was the foreign minister or the industries minister, someone said, look, this is really silly. This whole arrangement was your idea, was the American idea, because they realized that if they really stopped Russian oil from reaching the market, oil prices would go through the roof
Yeah.
and destroy
They're the
everybody's.
third biggest oil producer.
It destroy everybody's economy. So the whole idea was, backdoor, they'll come in here, they'll refine this thing, it'll be measured, there'll be this ceiling, which hasn't really worked, but there'll be this ceiling, it will limit Russia's money, income to be able to prosecute the war, so on and so forth. Essentially, which will be my argument, which I'm going to develop as we go through this topic. Essentially, the Americans don't know what the hell they're doing, man. I mean, the West doesn't know what it's doing.
I
But
think Europe is at the behest of the US, though. Let's be
well, it
honest.
doesn't have to be. That's the
Doesn't
funny
have to
thing.
be. Yeah, I know.
It
But
doesn't
it's
have to be.
doing so.
It's doing so, and when we look at certain things, okay, so there is what's in it for America. Let's say, okay, there's this thing called the Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, which
Yes,
you know about it.
I do. I've heard of it, but you want to elaborate to our listeners?
It offers, and the qualifier here is in italics. It says massive subsidies for companies that relocate to the United States.
Yeah.
So it's an unsubtle invitation saying, "Hey, do you want money? Move your factory here."
Yeah.
And several European manufacturers, especially those in the green energy space, have already shifted investments to the States,
Yeah.
right? So deindustrializing the Europe via energy sabotage. Somebody blew up Nord Stream. The idea that it was the Russians was proposed, in my opinion, by people who are clinically stupid. Because the Russians had a tap. If they wanted to turn off the gas, they just turn off
Turn the
the
tap
gas. Just they got the actual tap on the actual territory. They don't need to blow up anything.
I know. Well, you know
So
that went quiet, didn't it? After that.
the point is, somebody said we could blow it up if we wanted to. Do you know who that somebody was?
No, I don't actually.
Joe Biden.
Really?
Yes. Okay, I'll have to look at that. I know you're interested in facts and
I'm interested in that quote. Yeah.
okay.
Did he say that
Oh yeah.
specifically?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See that to me, if he said that, is an admission behind,
I said
you
it a
know,
long time before. There we go.
he said we could blow it up if we wanted to. So they were trying to blame Russia for that being damaged, when in fact the not the evidence, because you can't find any evidence, but who's got the most to lose in all this? It couldn't be Europe itself. That's stupid. Why would you do that? And it wouldn't be Russia, because Russia is actually supplying the gas. So the oil and what have you. So why would they do it? It doesn't make sense for it to be either of them. But for the US to prevent it so that their Europe is then steering to them for their energy needs, it makes more sense that it would be the US, and they've got the means to do it. It's
The
not
ability
exactly an
to
easy
do it
place to get
was
to. Yeah.
the ability to do it was one of the reasons why nobody thought it was actually Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine would have loved to do it, but we just didn't feel that they had the capability. Would you like to? I've sent you a link and a quote, which is I think you'd find quite interesting because that's a direct
Okay.
quote.
Joint press conference by the then German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, 22. Biden declared
February
that
7th.
February 7th, 2022, Biden declared that if Russia invaded Ukraine, there will no longer be a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. Interesting.
Mhm.
So he actually said that himself. Okay.
Yes. I don't know for those who remember, but there was a point, I think, uh, got this memory, it was back in 2024, could have been the bottom part of 2023, when Olaf Scholz flew flew to Washington in what appeared to be a rage and was only there for a few hours, went straight to the White House, and we were never told what it was.
Okay.
And the speculation was at the time that they'd had conclusive evidence that it was the Americans who done it.
Right.
And they went there to rage at Biden. Nothing much came out of it. That's
Mm.
pure
You
speculation.
see,
We don't know
this,
for sure.
I know speculations, but very interesting. This is a Dynamite Conspiracy show, so we
Well, that's
can
true.
speculate somewhat. The point is the fact that Biden said this in 2022. Now, obviously, he wanted to punish Russia.
Mhm.
Now, rather than, well, realizing that Russia wasn't going to turn the tap off, because, well, why would they? They're producing and releasing energy to Europe, and Europe still want the energy, so they're still going to use it. So to me, that's not a slam dunk, but it's as good as it's basically saying the Americans' interest was A, to harm Russia by stopping the fuel because Europe weren't going to do it. So they forced Europe to do it by blowing up the pipeline. And that way, the other benefit is that they then force Europe to turn to them as the seller of the liquefied gas. So now they're earning more money from Europe because liquefied gas is quite expensive, and Europe have nowhere else to go. The infrastructure around the world where the other countries produce it is not in place for the quantity that would be needed by Europe that's been cut off from the Russian supply. So they had to go to the America, and they're the only other player in town that could supply the quantity that was needed. So to me, this threat that you've now provided, that Biden had declared that if Russia invaded Ukraine, there will no longer be a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it. End quote. That to me is almost admittance that they did it. Pure
Yes,
and simple.
yes. But you were saying that you said something I need to correct you here. You said that to ensure that Europe wasn't getting gas through the pipeline. Actually, the Germans had stopped taking gas through that pipeline. It wasn't working. So it was already not working, and it says, look, it's not going to work. There was no reason to actually blow up the pipeline except to make damn sure that they couldn't
Right.
they couldn't start taking gas. It was always an option that they could,
Yes.
but they weren't actually taking any gas.
Oh, interesting. So
So
the Americans, well, we're assuming it's the Americans, Dynamite Conspiracy Show, we can say it. So the Americans absolutely made sure that they couldn't. So,
precisely.
I mean, let's look at that in a context of, you're selling a product. You have a competitor
Hmm.
and your sales aren't going great. What do? You blow up the competitor, or
Yeah.
you blow up the building, or you put a scandal on them so
Well, if
customers
you're
say,
in New
"Oh,
York, sorry, I shouldn't have jumped in there. An idea just came to my head, and I'm so excited to share with you. If you are a New York property developer and you're used to dealing in the muck with some pretty heavy guys in the mafia, you could have developed over the decades a mafia type of mentality. Well, it would be unfortunate if something happened to your building, or your pipeline, if you catch
oh
my
dear,
drift.
yeah, yeah, yeah."
Right? So Biden wasn't a New York developer, but we know who is, and we know
Hmm.
who is going to be talking to President Putin in a week or two, it seems, with an idea that he floated in the early part of this year that a lot of people probably missed, which was an offer to to President Putin, saying something like, you know, one way to guarantee peace and quiet in Ukraine is to let America own the pipelines.
Yes. They
you
don't trust them though, do they? The Russians do not trust the Americans.
you own the pipelines in Ukraine that's carrying Russian gas. Why do you own the pipeline? You're 4,000 miles away. Why on earth
Hmm.
would you own the pipelines? But I can see where the Russians might think it's probably the best blooming guarantee, man. Because if they own the pipelines, you know, when you got a thief, you let him hold the money because as long as everybody knows how much money is there, the money is going to be safe. Because the only person who's going to steal is responsible for it.
Yes.
So it could be. I just say it's the dynamite conspiracy. Anyway, so
That's actually an interesting avenue, yeah. But
it is.
would that, I'm trying to think, how would that destroy Europe? It wouldn't. They're going to benefit because surely if Americans own the pipeline, then Ukraine won't benefit. The Americans will benefit,
Hmm.
and the Americans will get access to the oil and gas for
No, no,
their
not
own
getting
domestic
access. They just
market.
get paid money just for nothing. They get transit fees for nothing.
Okay,
They get paid transit
a bit
transit
like some
fees.
other states do it. Yeah.
You say you don't. What are you doing? Nothing. But just every year, just pay me this billions. Thank you.
Hmm.
It's actually a protection racket.
Yes, it is a protection racket. Mafiosi on a country scale. That
Yeah,
is
international scale.
incredible.
Nothing will happen to your
Incredible.
pipeline because you're paying us this protection money. We're not calling it protection money. We're calling it transit fees. Ridiculous.
So, okay, we'll see how that develops. That's interesting. So, watch this space, people. If this is happening, I don't know when the show will go live on the airways, but when it does, we may know a bit more. We may do a subsequent show on that. That's
Oh,
interesting.
that's not going to happen immediately because we've got to settle the Ukrainian issue first. But with that in place, the arms will probably stop flowing to Ukraine. Ukraine will have to come to terms with Russia, and after that, with a very short period of time, then you'll hear something about ExxonMobil owns the pipelines in Ukraine.
The thing is, though, will Putin agree to that? Because you're
Yeah,
now
he will.
inviting American business directly on its doorstep.
It will. There's no. I don't see a loss because the whole idea would be for oil to flow. Well, sorry, gas. I beg your pardon. Would be for, well, even gas and oil to flow. That would just be the whole idea. Let the gas flow, and if the Americans are happy and are behind it, you've just taken one problem off the table permanently. It's just no one's going to cause any hassles over it. It's all settled.
Okay.
So
I'd need to see more meat on the bone. It's an interesting idea. But let's go back to
mhm.
the America destroying Europe. And
So even the
ultimately,
Ukrainian war,
yeah,
even the Ukrainian war, there's no way, as I believe I mentioned in the show several times, on several shows, there's no way that Ukraine was ever, even NATO can't beat Russia. I said it before, I'll say it again. You can't beat Russia. Either Russia wins or everybody on the planet loses, because Russia is sitting on top of 6,000 nuclear warheads. And again, we're not saying that Tayo is the cleverest person on the planet and he lives in Northampton and for some reason he's at the center of a web of intelligence and, he's got his fingers in the pie. It's just ordinary common sense, in the same way that you can't beat America, because America is sitting on 4 or 5,000 nuclear warheads. So either America wins or we all lose. Do you see? I mean, if it's conventional weapons, fine, but conventional war happens on somebody else's territory. So America lost in Afghanistan, they lost in Vietnam. That's someone else's territory. It wasn't an existential threat. You start rolling up into Russia, you're becoming an existential threat. And the Russian nuclear doctrine is that at that point they will deploy their nukes.
yeah.
So the nuclear doctrine is published, and the people in the Pentagon have read it and understand the stakes. So they went into this war knowing fully well that they were not going to win. I sent you donkeys years ago. I sent you a document from the Rand Corporation. Did you ever read it?
I don't remember.
Published 2019, the Rand Corporation.
No, I can't remember. Do you want to enlighten me? Is it
Okay, so
relevant to this show?
highly. The
Okay.
Rand Corporation in 2019 published a white paper, and they explained what to do and how to do it in Ukraine, and it is being carried out step by step. So,
So they're
we'll find,
following the Rand Corporation's blueprint?
yes, they are step by step.
For what
And
purpose?
well, because it says the name, I believe part of the name of the full name, I'll get it for you in a second, is extending Russia. The whole idea is to extend Russia and to weaken Russia to the point where it becomes possible to contemplate attacking China. But if a strong Russia makes it impossible to think about attacking China. So it is weaken Russia. It's cost them so much money and blood and sweat and tears that they are weak to the point they're very nearly irrelevant when the time comes to pivot to China and to take on China, which is the main threat to American hegemony. Russia is not a threat to American hegemony. Yes, it's sitting on trillions of dollars of resources, of all sorts of resources that the West would love to get its mitts on. They would love to get its mitts on that. So balkanizing Russia, the way it's balkanized, say, Yugoslavia, would be fantastic. But that's nice to have, and it's
Why
unlikely to
can't they
happen.
just why can't they just tap into Russia's reserves through a normal trade? Like everyone else does. Why will you have to undermine it to try and get hold of that value in resources? Why don't you just trade with them so that you bring them under your fold of trade? That way everyone's happy, everyone's trading, everyone is boosting their economies and working together as opposed to trying to be greedy, undermine them and trying to grab all those
Mm,
resources
it's lack of
for themselves.
control. You don't then if you're trading with Russia but you don't control the resources, it's not quite the same thing as you control the resources. So remember when this whole problem started with Putin was in 2007 or 2008 when the American oil companies wanted to do to Putin, and he used Nigeria in his response,
Yeah, I remember.
very insultingly, but at the same time, very truthfully. So it's not his fault. He said, "Oh no, we're not going to be like the Nigerians. You know, we're not going to be stupid like the Nigerians. We own the cow." And then we outsource the cow to you, and then we buy butter from you. That doesn't make any blooming sense. So
Oh no.
he actually said, "No, we're not going to, God, no, we're not going to be like the Nigerians. No, we're going to own our resources. You can't own our resources." And that was the genesis of everything. The Americans want to own resources. And that is why they're so annoyed with China. That's another reason why they're so annoyed with China. China doesn't need to own. Actually, China ended up owning people's resources, but they move into a country, develop the mines. I don't know if they buy them outright. They develop the mines, they develop the infrastructure, they will build your railroads for you, they will build your seaports for you, they'll build your airports for you, your roads and everything, your bridges. Very easy terms of payment, and they just extract your resources. But you're happy because they built all this infrastructure for you. They're paying you a decent price, they're not underpaying you. Do you know how much the French were paying for Nigerian, no, not Nigerian, Niger? There's two
Niger, the
countries.
other country above, yeah.
Yeah, the other country above Nigeria is a
Yeah.
French former French colony, and
Colony,
it's
yeah.
pronounced Niger. It's
Niger.
Niger, and it's pronounced Nigerian. People from there are called Nigerians. Do you know how
Okay.
much? Do you know how much the French were paying for per kilo for Ukrainian Nigerian uranium?
No idea.
$12 per kilo.
What?
$12 per kilo.
$12 for
$12
uranium.
for uranium. As opposed to what? Do you happen to have an idea?
I thought it was in the
100 and
thousands.
no. Per kilo.
Oh, per kilo.
120 plus.
Wow.
And for
So they're getting a
decades,
tenth of the price.
they were getting a tenth of the price, which is why the chap who threw them out of Niger threw them out of Niger. Is there an army captain or whoever that took over in a
I
military
don't
coup?
know. I don't know a lot about Niger.
Niger, and that's why the Chinese and the Russians are in there protecting Niger because Macron is extremely upset by this. I don't think it ever crossed his mind to go, actually, they've got a point. Why are we paying them
Yeah,
$12?
yeah, yeah.
Let's pay them a decent amount of money. If anyone who had done that said, you're kidding. Could act, pretend.
Yeah.
All right? You go, oh, we're not paying you 12. Are we? Oh my gosh,
Mm.
that's terrible. I'm so sorry. Listen, here's a lump sum as a sorry. And I didn't know that was going, some
Yeah.
BS like that. They're still friends, correct? But no, he was like, yeah, well, colony, we've done so much for you. And it's just like, what?
Mm.
Okay, so this is the way the West has been doing business, and that's just the way to think about it, is exploitation. It's not the Chinese way, which I think everybody's beginning to really admire, understand, and admire, which is called win-win.
Yeah.
But in the Western way of playing the game is a zero-sum game. It's me or it's you. One of us is going to have to lose. So looking
Yeah.
back at how America is looking at Europe, it's
Yeah.
seeing something. I think this is my proposition. It's seeing that Europe is geopolitically weak. It's not what it used to be. We used to be able to cut deals and tell people we're going to do this. The EU will you want to send to our market, you do this, you do that, under the pretense of
Well,
democracy.
they are still quite tight on their market. They're quite precious of it, let's be honest, because America have long moaned that they want to sell more to Europe, but Europe have got higher standards, and so they refuse to accept a lot of the American goods, particularly their food products, because European food products are way, way more superior. And the Americans have quibbled long ago, oh, but look at our cows. Our cows are bigger. They're lovely cows. Why won't Europe want them?
Because
And
they're
Europe has simply
hormone
said,
injected
yeah,
horse.
exactly. Hormone injected. The European cows are not. They're smaller, but they're natural. Hence why
you,
they
you
refuse
don't
them.
grow two heads when you eat our stuff. do, you, do you know what? Do you know what? I think it was Candace Owens or someone like that. By the way, I mean, I don't know the woman or anything, and she's not paying me. If you're not watching Candace Owens, man, you're really missing out. I mean, in my opinion. So free plug for Candace.
Okay.
Anyway, she
Let's hope Candice will return the favour for the TNT talk show.
yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath, man.
She may do, you never
Huh?
know. Could be an avid
Uh,
listener.
and anyway, although I say go watch a show, I'd rather not get an endorsement from her because she's in the middle of a really big fight
Oh,
with
I
all
know,
sorts
with
of
the
big people.
French. Yes,
So thanks,
indeed.
Candice, but yeah, I know, just no,
Not at the minute.
not at the minute. Thank you.
Oh, you can endorse us if you like.
Huh? No, I'm saying don't endorse us.
No, no,
Actually,
I'm happy to accept endorsement. I don't care.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they have you start knocking on your door in the middle of the night, you'd be like, "What's all this
It won't be on
about?"
my door, but your door. You're the
What
controversial
the
one.
hell? Okay, so whoever's watching, I'm saying she shouldn't endorse us, and it's Tony. And if you want to know where he lives, just give me a call, and I'll I'll dox him, man.
Oh,
He's
dear.
gone. So what was I saying? She said, "What did she?" Oh, you made me forget what she said. Now
Oh, sorry.
she said something. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, yeah, the food.
The food, yes.
She said, "Yeah, okay. If it was her, it might not have been her. I think it was her who was saying the incredible thing about American food is that it makes you ill."
There is an element of truth there, I'm afraid. She's not actually lying. And that's part of the reason why, Europe refuses to take some of the American products. They're happy with taking others, but they certainly won't take food, despite the protestations
It's
of our
astonishing.
American friends.
Your own food makes you ill.
Well,
Ah, it wasn't Candy Owens. It was Tucker Carlson.
ah,
It was Tucker
Tucker.
Carlson.
Yeah, yeah.
He definitely said because he's selling some free range stuff or whatever, but all the same, it's pretty amazing that you think that food can be a poison. I never really thought about it, and then I started thinking about it and thinking, yeah, actually, if you put all sorts of weird chemicals into your food, it's going to go into your system.
Of course it is.
It's going to wind up in your system.
Of course it is. Absolutely. And we're paying the price. And the point is, even there's additives that we take now in a lot of food, because a lot of people, let's be honest, a lot of people don't cook from scratch.
Mm.
You're buying stuff out of packets.
Mm.
And as soon as you're buying something that's in a packet, the company has put it in the packet and tried to make it last on a shelf, because that's what happens. To make it last on the shelf, you have to add additives to it. Now, granted, those additives in small doses, our bodies can deal with. But when you're having it day in, day out, day in, day out, the body gets tired. It can't deal with breaking down all these additives or
Mm.
whatever they are. And it struggles. It struggles. That's why we have an obesity problem. That's why in America, even though they have the most variation of food, they've got the sickest and the most obese people on the planet, because even though the medical side is top drawer, they have to pay for it, people are getting sicker. Why is that? We're in a more, industrialized, more advanced world. It's because the food is making people sick. So you're right. But this is where Europe is refusing to take America's food. So they have got certain barriers in place. But then equally now, with Trump in power, he's putting barriers in place for the produce with the tariffs. So quid pro
Yep.
quo, isn't it really?
So the geopolitically weak, they've isolated themselves, but by being America's lapdog for so long, they've managed to tick off BRICS for a start, the global south in large part, which is basically everyone
But didn't we
who
touch on this though before? I mean, I think the reason why Europe are, let's be honest, they're loyal to America. They're loyal, let's be fair, because what happened after the Second World War? America, I mean, we touched on it on one of our shows. America created that fund, and the name of the fund escapes me.
Marshall Plan.
That's the one. Wonderful, thank you. Which was to basically regenerate Europe after the Second World War. And they
Hmm.
pumped in billions of dollars so that the countries could then resurge, grow again quickly, and obviously trade with America. And I think Europe has always had a soft spot for America, always, because of that reason, because it could have turned out so much worse. And that's why they give the US the benefit of the doubt. And you say, we're their lapdog. I think there's history there. And they honor that history because of what America actually did after the Second World War. It's a pity their policies have changed since then. But I think Europe is still living in the past because they owe it to the Americans to be on their side and fully support them. But behind closed doors, they must seriously be looking and thinking, hang on, these guys are sort of trying to do us over here at times.
So you're wrong.
Oh,
The conspiracy is the thinking in conspiracy circles is that it is the fact that European leadership has been captured by Davos. That people go to Davos thinking and feeling one way, and then they are somehow seduced in Davos and return to us as acolytes of the Davos system, which is the oligarchs, actually. It's a class of people, mostly in America, but also in Europe. It's a class war, not an American kind of thing, but it's been funneled through America. And that's the thinking. So that's why the population in Europe wants one thing, but the leadership is doing something else. It's not acting in the best interest of its own people.
but this
And you're
that's
talking
the
about the
pain with
Marshall Plan.
democracy, though. We've discussed this as well. The problem with democracy is people only see a small window of what there is out there. Governments are privy to quite a bigger window, so they can make a more informed decision. The population only know so much. Let's be honest, and the majority of the population know even less than that. But most citizens, even if they're informed, only know what a certain amount is available. Governments, by virtue of being governments, have access to a lot more. So they can make not better decisions, they can make different, more informed decisions. Now, the population in the democracy doesn't like that. Oh no, why are they doing this? That makes no sense. Because to their viewpoint, what the government is doing is something alien to them because they don't see that. They only see it from their viewpoint, which is their limited amount of information. So, but a democracy allows the population who only see this much to elect people to do their bidding. And that's why when we've covered it on another show before, we said, did some political leaders become Stretford wives effectively
Yes.
once they get into power? It's because they now can see a bigger picture. They have more information at their disposal, which
Mm.
then means they have to think differently.
Well,
Maybe not what they originally thought when they were part of Joe Public, so to speak. I'm not giving them a free pass here, by the way.
yeah, I just
That's
wanted to
not
make the
my,
point that
that's,
you
yeah,
said we. It wasn't a we thing. It was a you thing. I
yeah.
never bought into that plan.
No,
I
no,
never
no.
bought into that idea.
It's
So
not a a free pass because they do screw up. I'm not saying that, but we have to accept that they see information and have a vaster, what terrible word. They have a vast amount of more information at their disposal that we, Joe Public, do not. So we are
we
less
can
informed than them.
I can accept that general proposition without saying that that means that I can't surmise that what they're doing is harming me. So if
Of course
for
you
no
can. You
reason
absolutely can say that because it
if
can still harm you.
if for no reason you're digging a knife into my left buttock, it's not because you know something. It's not necessarily because you know something about my left buttock that I don't know. But I do know it's hurting like mad, and I can't stop and say, "What are you doing?" At the very least. So it's the same
Absolutely,
thing.
and you're right. You
When we
have to
look
ask the question, what are you
right,
doing?
exactly, and when we look at what is the leadership is doing, it is not helping us, but it is helping America. Now I'm about to send you something, and I'll just read this out. Some
You want me to put
analysts
this with the blurb
Yeah,
of the
yes.
show? Yeah,
Yes. Some analysts have noted that the scale of the BRI, well, the BRI is the Belt and Road Initiative. It is
yeah.
China's equivalent. Well, not equivalent. It's China's way of building relationships across the large swathes of the world for basically the extraction of materials and to furnish trade, the trade flows for everyone's benefit. So their idea is that if they can take materials out of, say, Africa, turn them into goods and services, and the Africans can afford to buy them and use them to grow in Africa, then Africa grows wealthier, and that trade will make China wealthier. So it's
Yes,
their win-win,
absolute win-win. Absolutely. It's a
right?
fantastic philosophy, really.
Okay, so it's 10 times. Sorry, was it 10 times? Notice that is.
You were talking about Niger, who
No, I was talking
got
about the
the
size of the Marshall Plan.
oh, yes, that's right. But well, you got
It
to remember,
dwarfs the
it
Marshall
dwarfs
Plan
the
because the
Marshall
Marshall
Plan.
Plan
Yeah.
was $150 billion in today's money, but the Chinese invested about 340 billion in today's money. So you can, again, it goes back to when you say if Europe was really interested in a Marshall Plan type of thing, it would be more interested in the BRI than
I
it
think
would
it's
be
not. It's
in.
not that because Europe is now self-sufficient in terms of it doesn't need the handout because that's what that was from the US in the past.
Well, our infrastructure isn't what it should be. I mean, Chinese trains are zipping around at, what did I say the other day? 400 kilometers per hour or something?
Yeah, it was something crazy,
So
crazy.
the infrastructure is off the charts, and I think they just got a new 1 gigabyte. And I say new, I mean the last month or a couple of months. 1 gigabyte is just standard internet speed.
I know.
Standard.
Although
And
South
I'm happy
Korea
when
has
I
been
get,
ahead of them for
yeah,
longer,
but
they've got the most advanced. But yeah, but
yeah,
I get
catching up
it.
all over the place. And
We're
so
we're not.
we're not.
No.
And imagine if they were doing stuff for us here and we were not so tightly tied towards, we're tied towards America. But my position is that America is taking advantage of our weakness to eviscerate, to, loot Europe whilst Europe has something worth looting. That's where it's coming from. They're not trying to destroy Europe, but Europe is doomed. You remember when Pete Hegseth, was it,
Yeah.
came here to, this is the equivalent of the Minister of Defense, which they call the Secretary of Defense in America, I believe.
Yeah. Secretary of State of Defense. Yeah.
No, Secretary of State is the Foreign Minister. So Secretary of Defense is the Defense Minister,
Okay.
and it's Pete Hegseth. People rather
Is he the
dismissively
guy with the
call.
telegram issue? Yes.
I think he's the guy who used to be on Fox News or something.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
They said Donald Trump just got somebody off Fox to come and be his defense minister because he agrees with it. So what kind of crap
And
is
he's
this?
the guy that didn't he have that faux pas with a telegram app and invited
The
some reporter to join their group?
do you think it was a faux pas, though? Do you really think so?
Do you think what he did it on purpose?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
I
that
think.
was completely embarrassing.
Well, if it
That you,
was, then is he's really terrible. I'd
well,
have
he
thought that.
is. He is. This half these people that Trump has put into power are not fit for the job. Oh, while we're there, just I've got an interlude here. Tayo, could you demonstrate some of our merch again there for our viewers watching us on our YouTube channel and other video channels? He's parading a mug, which is part of our merchandise. So if you're interested in merch, please write in. We can provide you a link because it's not quite ready yet, but we can still provide you up front if you're interested in some merch. So yeah, that was very kind of Tayo doing
Very,
that deliberately
very
or
interesting
not deliberately.
segue from out of nowhere. Just what the hell? Don't worry, guys. If you're not confused, you're misinformed. I don't know what the hell is going on either, and I'm actually part of the show. So
Okay.
now, where was I? So you, I don't. This is my position. America is not actually trying to destroy
Europe.
Europe.
So even though our title is
It
it
is
trying to do it.
taking advantage
Right.
of Europe's self-destruction.
So you believing that Europe is imploding on itself
It
and
definitely is.
and
I mean,
Europe,
Hegseth said so.
well,
He came in and he said, I mean, Hegseth, There's another geopolitical commentator. He's about maybe just a little bit even better known than Scott Ritter. His name is Colonel McGregor. Was this his first name? Is it Douglas? Douglas McGregor? And he was at one point quite tight with Donald Trump, but they had some sort of falling out because he's not a yes man, and Donald Trump seems to
Like,
only want
yes,
to be
man.
yes
Yeah,
man.
he does. Absolutely.
And McGregor wasn't. He's not a yes man at all. You can tell. He doesn't do the yes sir thing. And he's saying that he's constantly pointing out that England isn't England any longer. It's a He goes a bit far, calls it a third world country, and I think he's talking about demographically. He says Europe is not far behind, and the Americans are looking at this, and then there's no more free speech, which is what Hegseth said to the European leadership, to their faces. He said, "What are you people doing? Elections are meaningless now. People cast votes, but they get they can't get the government that they want. He's looking at France, he's looking at Romania, he's looking at Moldova. People are voting one way and they're getting the exact opposite of what they voted for because the people they voted for don't want the EU, and the EU says, "Oh, you can't have that. We're going to have these people." And then, so it's like, what's going on? There's no democracy. There's no free speech. It's not even an European population any longer. You guys are doomed. So they're sitting in the White House and sitting on the Capitol Hill, and they're going, "These people are finished. Let's extract what we can. Whilst there's something to extract." That's what I believe is going on. That's what I believe is
But
going on.
what are they trying to extract? Because
Wealth, the last of the wealth. I mean, industries, the brain drain and capital. There's a lot of capital still in Europe, and the one that would prefer that to be in US.
the thing is, sort of talking about the brain drain, so destroying Europe by draining it of its sort of clever people, is that what you're
Hmm.
saying?
Yes.
I mean, because there aren't any clever people in America.
Mm-mm.
There was a, I think I shared it with you, wasn't it? Of some figure was talking about the H1B.
Oh yeah. Was that you? Okay.
Yeah, that was the report, H1B, that in
Mm.
America they're trying to cancel that,
Yeah.
which is
Well, they
needed
have, haven't
to,
they?
yeah, which is needed to bring expertise and
Well,
intelligence
it's
from
gone. It's too
abroad.
late now. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
gone.
it's
Whether
gone.
whether they bring it back or not, I think just the way Trump has been an elephant in a china shop has just shocked everyone. The Chinese have returned home. The Indians have returned home, and it's not looking good for
Because they were
American.
cancelling it, hoping that the positions will be filled by American students. But there aren't American students able to fill those positions. Just they're not clever enough because the education system is so poor.
Yeah.
So that's incredible to me. So they've tried to stop immigration in effect by cancelling H1B, where you're getting really top draw people from foreign lands to come over. And they've cancelled that to allow jobs to be filled by the American public, of which there aren't enough intelligent American people to fill those high level positions.
Well,
That's
it went more. It was more fundamental than that. When it came to China, they were actually saying they don't want Chinese students in sensitive programs such as AI
yeah.
and top physics programs in MIT and places like this, because that was in the opinion of these idiots who came up with this idea, that was exposing American intelligentsia to danger. So the Chinese upped and left and said, "Thank you very much." And then the Americans went, "Hang on a minute, how come there's no one here?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they were all Chinese, and they
Yeah.
were all Chinese, they were
Brain
all
drain.
Indians."
Yeah. Yeah.
So and they've taken, and by the way, their professors went with them. So they're turning around now and they're saying it's all happening in China, thank you very much, and in India.
Yeah.
Uh,
But what's crazy? So you're saying though, because
So that's not him. That's H1B. The H1B was to work there.
yeah, to work there.
This
But
wasn't
you're
working.
now
This was
saying,
studying.
are you saying now that America's now pillaging the Europeans and doing something similar because they've now ostracized the Chinese, the Indians, so now they're doing it. They're coming to Europe to poach the good minds from here. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, pay them a lot of money because they need them. I mean, they haven't got theirs at this point, so they
Yeah.
absolutely need them, and they can afford to with their dodgy money because that's actually funny money, the
Okay.
American dollar, but it's
But that's
still.
not destroying Europe, is it? It's
Well, if you
undermining
if you're
it.
losing if you're losing your top tier individuals, and then you're losing your energy, your industries, what's left? I mean, Germany is a joke now, getting worse. I
I
mean,
think I
and
think
then they're talking about going to war. I mean, they're talking about spending 80 billion euro or something to go to war with Russia. I'm just thinking to
who?
myself, this is Germany again, under
No,
this guy Merz. Nish or what? How do you pronounce his stupid name anyway?
I don't know. I don't know.
The new
I'm not
chancellor.
sure about that. I think that
No, I'm sure of that because I've
those
just
are
told you
not
about.
real America influencing Europe for that. I
No, no, it's
mean,
not. No, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that these are dead. This is a dead continent, is what I'm trying to say. That the people who are fighting and holding the fort may be Viktor Orban and was it Robert Fico in not Czech Republic, the other one,
Slovakia.
Slovakia or Slovenia. What the hell, man? How am I supposed to know who the hell is? Why are there two called Slovakia and Slovenia? Which one is
They're two
Bratislava?
different countries.
Yeah, it's
Two different
annoying though.
countries.
Just for my
Slovakia is Bratislava.
okay, so that place.
Yeah. Slovenia is a
It's
different country.
it's annoying to me. I think just for tire's sake, they should just stop pretending they're two different countries.
They
Call
are different
themselves.
countries. They
I don't care
were.
about
It's
all
like
that.
Czechoslovakia. It used to be Czechoslovakia. It's now the Czech Republic and Slovakia.
So where the hell is Slovenia?
Slovenia is a different country. They
Oh,
used to be part of Yugoslavia.
really? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a different argument, but maybe we should do a geography show one day. But
I'm
what I'm
no good
saying,
at that.
what I'm saying is that it's really annoying to me. So it's Slovakia because it's Bratislava. I
Yeah.
think is Robert Fico or whatever. It's just those two countries that have them making any sense whatsoever
Yeah,
in
only
Europe.
because come on. They're siding with Trump, the right wing, you're right wing. You're going to be happy with them. That's that's
I'm
all
not.
it is. That's not
Who's
actually
that right
they're the
wing?
right ones just because they speak your language. That doesn't
Also,
make it right or wrong. And also
Fico.
also they understand the collective in Europe that keeping them together is what's keeping them together. It keeps them active. If they because let's be honest, right?
Mhm.
Trump is at the moment you can't rely on him. He's
Ah,
unstable in his
it's
actions.
bonkers.
Well,
And
there
by
you
the
go.
by the way, I used to ask myself, do you remember how I used to say, is he clever? Is he no, I think the jury is in. This man's a blithering idiot. He really is. How he got those women into bed, I don't know. It just makes me sort of respect women even less because how did you go out with this? I used to think that he got all these beautiful women meant that, and he was a millionaire. It meant something. The man is an actual bona fide chump. He's Trump the
What's
chump.
made you change your mind?
Just watching him. He opens his mouth and everything he's got. He's such a little boy. It's the biggest. It's this. Oh, we're the brightest. What is your problem? Grow up, man. You're 70, almost 80 years old or something. Well, what the hell is this guy's problem?
I think he did sort of it didn't help him when he was talking about the drug prices. He's trying to lower them. Did you that didn't help him, did it really? Because he did say that not lowering them by 40% or 60% or even 100%, 1,000%. It's like,
No
what?
more than
I
5,000%.
think he didn't quite
They'll be, they'll be
grasp
paying, they'll be
maths
paying
there.
you to take a drug away. Idiot. You just realize, oh my God, this man's an idiot. That moment when you realize you're gonna vote for a bona fide idiot. You think this guy's got his hands on the nuclear part? First of all, Congress should take that away from him.
Well. I don't
They
think
should.
he had. I don't think he can. Can he do it unilaterally? I don't think
Well,
he can.
no, I believe this was to do with Obama or someone like that. They were explaining that it's not, there's a button to press, all right, there are codes, but other people have to press other things, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you can't do it all. They have to agree with you.
yeah.
But Putin can.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
we're
that
getting to
was
the
the
top of the
Russia.
hour here. We need to. I mean, we've we've swung
Slovenia's
around here. We've
Slovenia is the land of the Slavs. So how come they're not tight with whatchamacallit this people, with
who?
Russia? Slovenia. The name actually means the land of the Slavs.
Yeah, but it's they're all Slavic. Yugoslavia is all Slavic nations.
Slavia,
Yes, they're
Yugoslavia.
all Slavic nations.
Mm.
Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Serbia,
Now the Serbs
North
are Serbs, aren't they?
Macedonia. They're
Are they
all
Slavs?
Slavic. Sorry?
The Serbs, are they Slavs?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. They all are. So, yeah, it's all part of that. Although Slovenia is right at the very top, and they're very
you are
European
right.
influenced.
It used to be part of Yugoslavia. I didn't believe you, but yeah, you're right. Sorry.
See, I knew that. I knew that. But anyway, come on. We've gone through an hour and we haven't really touched on the subject. Is
Not my fault.
America deliberately destroying Europe?
Not deliberately. There's not deliberately destroying Europe. It's taking advantage of Europe's implosion, in my opinion. I don't think that there's any conspiracy where people have actually sat down and mapped out a strategy and said this is how we're going to destroy Europe. But I do think that there's a general consensus of opinion around the idea of let's not worry about keeping Europe afloat. Let's just take what we can out of it now. That's what I think is going on.
I think they're certainly with this administration, it's casting them adrift a bit. Not that they want to destroy them, they just don't care. I think there's more of that attitude.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe. So it's not to destroy them. If they destroy themselves, it's almost like, yeah, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the administration is doing,
Mm.
not deliberately trying to destroy Europe. They
Agreed.
don't like what's happening. They clearly don't like what's happening with Russia and Ukraine because it's destabilizing a lot of things. And obviously, prices worldwide are affected because that's all America are caring about at the minute. But if that can be solved, then would they would they try to destroy Europe? No, I think it's all in it. If they could get some benefit, especially from the Ukraine issue, if that can be resolved, as you've said, in their favor, then they'll be back in Europe's favor again. They'll be over because Ukraine is there. They'll try and cozy up and trying to make the most of if they can get this deal over the line. But that remains to be seen. But in answer to your question, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. They're not deliberately
No,
trying to destroy Europe.
no, that would take focus, attention, and intelligence. Just saying.
Okay, if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexplained twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show, but unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.